Hello and welcome to another video from me,
Demons.
and I've noticed out there on the interwebs there are a lot of virtual reality videos that seem to be very popular, top 5 or top 10. And when I've actually done some searches myself for a certain particular thing, I noticed, well, there was hardly any of these videos about. There's always the top 5 virtual reality games or the top 5 experiences, but there wasn't really a list for top 5 or 10 PC compatible virtual reality games. Now by that I mean that originally the game wasn't VR enabled, and then the developers, as the game came out, or it started to, sales slumped a little bit, they thought, well, we want to get in on this virtual reality. So I'm going to go through now and give you my top 5 PC games that are VR enabled, that I've enjoyed, I found immersive, and probably should be in your list. And we'll go through, I'll keep these quite short. And if you're also interested, I may put the details in the about box below. But let's jump in and have a look at 5 games that I think are very worth you jumping back in and having a look, whether you've got the Oculus or the HTC Vive VR-tastic. Let's jump in and have a look at my number 5 game on the list. Can't get my words out then. Put your teeth back in.
That's how we pick items up. So we've got 84 rounds now.
Dead Effect 2 VR. Now, I wasn't expecting much from this title, to be honest with you, and there is actually the first 25 minutes playthrough here on the channel if you look for the video. Wasn't expecting much. Graphics, I thought, weren't that good, but in virtual reality, it's really quite immersive. When the zombies, the dogs, and whatever else is in here actually jump at you, it's terrifying. It really does make the hair stand up on end. So it is proof that even older games, when ported over to virtual reality, really can be immersive, can be completely different experience. And again, this is another title on the Steam Workshop that doesn't cost a lot. And if you look at the reviews, there are a lot of people talking about this title, saying it's brilliant. Again, long campaign, lots of weapons, very immersive, and because the environments are a little bit like Doom, everything that's up close and personal in virtual reality is always really good.
Jesus Christ! Bab your pants. It's the feeling I am getting.
No orders found. Drone returning to main duties.
Number 4 on our list of compatible PC games is Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now, the VR version works perfectly, not only in the single player, also works with the mods, and you can play this in a multiplayer. So if you want to get in a virtual traffic jam down at Dover or down near the docks, now you can do it in virtual reality. This is a brilliant way to play the game. I'm actually playing this on screen now with a 360 pad, but you can play with a wheel and pedals and do the full automatic system and everything in here if you want to, just to increase that immersion even further. The ability to be able to sit in the cab and physically look for traffic left and right is very hard to describe. It's something that, while you can do it with Track IR and you can do it in-game by looking left and right, nothing is going to quite prepare you for how it feels in virtual reality. Now, not everything is quite rosy with this title. On screen now, this all looks sharp and beautiful and crisp, but in-game it is a little bit low-res, especially out in the distance. Everything's not quite as beautifully optimized as it would be, seeing as this wasn't originally designed for virtual reality. But what can I say? If you want to get your truck on, if you want to give it rubber duck 10.4, then this is a title that should definitely be in your Steam library as a potential VR title. There are certain settings within this title that are going to enable things to look a little bit smoother in the headset and stop the motion sickness so much. So if you are interested in a video on that topic, I will cover that at some point as well. Scaling is 1:1. Feels absolutely brilliant. In fact, some of the cabs that you get in, the steering wheel is massive, but that's how it is in real life. And again, nothing's really going to be able to compare to be able to sitting in the cab, put in some music on, which I can't do now because YouTube will give me a copyright strike. Getting on the 10.4, and even in virtual reality, as you can see, my driving sucks. But no longer do you need to be able to put on the fake mirrors in the cab. You can actually just lean over, look at your mirrors, look at the dials, look at the sat nav. Everything works perfectly. And you can even, if you want to, get out on the motorway, out in the fields. You can literally do the entire game, which is massive, so it's worth every single penny. Game's cheap now. You can even go to a hotel, pick up a hooker, and go to a fuel stop. This is Euro Truck Simulator 2, and that's number 4 on my list of PC games that are now compatible with virtual reality. Number 3 on our list then is going to be Project Cars. Yes, I've not actually covered Project Cars 2 as yet because I haven't actually played it, but this is the original. And on my old channel, Paraplays VR, I actually did a video on some settings that were specific to virtual reality that would stop you getting motion sickness. It stops the world moving, rather the vehicle moves instead, and it really does help for long races and long sessions in virtual reality. Now, nothing could compare me to these open-wheel cars. The first time they decided to support this game, it was, in a word, mind-blowing. I know we say that word a lot of times in virtual reality, but they really did knock it out of the park with the support on this. It really, really does feel that you're sat in this cockpit. What virtual reality also brings to the table is the ability to obviously be able to look a lot easier at the opponents. You can look into corners. I'm not doing a very good example of it on the screen at the minute, but you really are able to improve your lap times as you can look into the corners and see a lot easier where other players are in multiplayer as well. And the sense of speed and crashing on the long straights in the F1 car is actually quite terrifying, as it would be in real life. You really do get an appreciation for the speed. So if you're looking for a title that's going to immerse you, that's a little bit of fun, and you want to get your foot to the floor, then I can highly recommend Project Cars. And I will do the video, I'll put a link to that video in the description box if you want to learn how to disable the sickness factor when it comes. But that's Project Cars, another title that's very highly recommended on my list.
Launch in 3, 2, 1.
Number 2 on my list of PC-compatible games is Subnautica. This is another title I've probably spent hundreds of hours actually playing the single player in 2D on a screen. And nothing, I can tell you, nothing can prepare you for when you've been playing the game in 2D to then jump into 3D and actually swim down in virtual reality into your own base under the water. Amazing. Now, it's not all good news for Subnautica. The UI, even though on screen looks flat, in virtual reality it's probably about 2.5 foot in front of you, and there are certain aspects where the user data pad is like 2 inches from your face and you get like cross-eyed trying to read it. So it's not all perfect. What I can tell you is, as you get under the water, the sense of scale here is very, very good. As you can see, you see your hands, there is a full body. Now this is a fully fledged virtual reality title. It's a survive 'em underwater kind of game, and it really, really is enjoyable. Again, I'm sure at some point many of you watching this video will have this title in 2D, but if you haven't tried it in 3D, please, please give it a go. I'm actually playing it here with the 360 pad because I find it a little bit difficult to control with the controllers currently, but I'm hoping they will update it again, because this game would probably be at number 1 had they given us the motion control support and full Oculus support as well. It really is a fantastic game, and obviously the aim of the game is to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and with full building of bases and equipment and technology. I absolutely love Subnautica, and if they really do support this game, then I shall definitely be doing more of a playthrough. The only thing that lets it down is turning with the 360 pad makes you feel very sick. It's a very strange sensation, but that's going to be number 2 on my list. Subnautica, a fantastic game even if you don't play it in virtual reality, but it has got VR support. It looks amazingly beautiful underwater. So if it's not on your list, currently, then get your goggles on and make sure it is. That's number 2, and that's Subnautica. Oh, that's water's cold. Just need a quick shower. Oh, and that's probably... Oh, yeah, that's refreshing. Oh, that's refreshing. Oh, I think many of you know who've already seen the videos on my channel, my virtual reality channel, what this title was going to be. Now, this is my number 1 PC virtual reality compatible title, and that is World of Diving. Yes, this game, I actually reviewed this game a couple of years ago on my old channel, and I slated it. Absolutely slated it. Told everybody don't buy it. And they, lo and behold, the devs have updated it, and now I absolutely love this title. There's nothing more relaxing than going underwater, looking at the absolutely beautiful environments. The immersion in here is fantastic. It really does feel like you're underwater. There's lots to discover down here. There are missions and things. Yes, they can get a little bit repetitive in the first section, which is Thailand. But there are other countries. There are deep sea wrecks to be done. There's the Bismarck. You can go way down to the bottom of the ocean. Way down where there's no light, so you need torches and things like that and vessels to get down there. There's multiplayer, co-op. It's exploration. It's just absolutely beautiful is this game, and I've really been enjoying it in virtual reality. It looks a lot better underwater than it does above water, and it's one of those titles I find myself going back to again and again and again. So you can get this title pretty cheap now on the Steam library, so if you haven't dived in by now, what are you waiting for? Thumbs up, subscribe and like this video, then go get your wetsuit on and jump in. You really will not be disappointed. There's just zero motion sickness. There is... it's just amazing. The fact that we're wearing a scuba gear diving mask and the HTC Vive actually feels like you've got a diving mask on. It's ridiculous, I know. How old are you, man? Just try it. Believe you me, you will enjoy this title. So that's number 1 on my list, but I haven't quite finished this video because there are a few titles that I wanted to give a mention out to, and these titles are ones that I either haven't played that much or I haven't played at all, or they just didn't float my boat too much, but you may actually enjoy them now that they are PC compatible. So that is my number 1. I hope you've enjoyed this list. Please let me know in the comments box what you think of this top 5 and whether you would change anything in here or whether there's any titles in here that you thought, well, I might give that a go now he's mentioned it. But there we go. So let's jump on to the mentionables and the titles that I think should be on your horizon that really have not quite grabbed me. Let's go. The Forest. Now, The Forest has full VR support right now, and I know a few friends of mine who absolutely love this game in 2D, and I am quite new to this game. I think I played it for about an hour or so in 2D, a good couple of years ago going on now, but now it's got full VR support and motion controller support, and I'm told by people who've played this, it's absolutely bloody terrifying. The inhabitants on this island have got a really integrated AI system. Some of them will just run up to you and stare at you and run away, which is terrifying in virtual reality. It really is terrifying. Anything that comes up to you, jumps at you, screams at you, points at you, it'll make the hairs go up on the back of your neck and terrify you. And of course, there is a full day and night cycle here. So this is the entire game in virtual reality. I don't know whether I've got the guts to actually go ahead and do this as yet. But as you can see on screen, it looks really kind of beautiful. What I have found from having a little dibble-dabble around here is it feels a little bit clunky, shall we say. Sometimes, occasionally, when I've crouched down to pick something off the floor, it feels like it's out of reach, or my feet are all of a sudden we're about half a foot in the air from the ground. But I'm sure these are all little teething troubles because as this game becomes more popular, obviously the devs will want to support it. But this is another 2D game that's been translated into virtual reality for the Oculus and the HTC Vive, and I think it also supports Windows Mixed Reality as well. So if you're looking for a horror game that will freak you out, and it's basically the full game, this is not a tech demo like a lot of the games out there, then certainly let me know what you think about this in the comments box. Is it worth playing? Is it terrifying? And how are you managing in virtual reality? But this has been The Forest, another title you probably need to have a look at. I know if I didn't put this in here, there was going to be a foray of comments saying, why didn't you put Elite Dangerous in? It's brilliant. Well, I've tried this in virtual reality and I just cannot get into it. I find this an absolute, utter snoresville. I'm one of those people who has zero interest in space combat and flying around and shooting people. Boring, does not interest me. The transport side of it, yes, cool. If there was a Star Citizen version that you could do logistics in, a little bit like Euro Truck Simulator in space, then I probably might enjoy it. But I really just could not get into this game. There is a game called, well, I can say Seeking Dawn that I'm a beta tester for, which is a cross between Halo, Mass Effect, and Crysis, and it's RTS, and it's out in a week or so ago. A week to go, should I say. That game, you're all going to be playing, and I certainly have done some videos ready to go on that title. But Elite Dangerous has to go in there. A lot of people love this. If you're one of those players, then all good to you. Originally, this wasn't a VR title, but now it is supported. Give it a go. See what you think. It's not for me, but it doesn't mean that it's not for you. Yep, that's right. It's Skyrim VR, another title that I have actually purchased on Steam and I got a refund from. I really cannot get into Skyrim after, and I blame CD Projekt Red, after The Witcher 3, which was a masterpiece of gaming and storytelling. I really cannot get into the clunky, horrible, dated graphics. I don't want to hear about you need 1,000 mods to make it look half decent. Bethesda just cannot do combat. You play this in 2D, you're swinging around like an idiot. The animations are terrible. Bethesda really never have and never will be at the top of my list for anything unless they're only the publisher. So I tried it. I didn't like it. But a lot of people do. It seems to be quite high up in the charts, along with this and another Bethesda title, which I'm sure you know what it is by now. But Skyrim VR for me was just clunky, dated, and horrible, and I really couldn't get in it. But if it's something that you would like to try, let me know why you like it and what you think of the old Skyrim versus Witcher.
We've had a proper family activity. Checkers, or perhaps charades.
Yes, of course, it's Fallout 4. Now, Fallout 4 is an interesting one. I played this a little bit. I bought into the hype. I don't know why, because again, it's a Bethesda game, and I can't stand Bethesda games. Rage may be the exception when that comes out, but this really, again, doesn't float my boat. I don't see what all the hype is about this game, and a lot of people were saying that the actual optimization for the virtual reality side was not very good. Combat, well, I think what it comes down to is the Pip-Boy. There's too many menus that simply do not work with a HTC Vive controller. Once the Knuckles come out, we've actually got buttons on there and the little joystick. I think things will change and a lot of these menu systems will become a lot easier to navigate. But until the Knuckles come out, in games like this, for me, suffer a little bit. It's kind of the same with Skyrim. Doesn't really interest me, this game. I hated it in 2D. I'm probably going to hate it in there. Leave your comments if you don't agree with me. Tell me that this is the best thing since sliced bread.
Stay with me, pal. Focus.
I'm only looking at virtual reality compatible PC games, not actual dedicated VR games. But that's going to be the last in my list. Fallout 4. Let me know if I've missed any. I'm sure there are a few on the list that I haven't included here, but these seem to be the main ones. Thanks for watching. I've been Box of Demons, and this has been my top 5 and some recommended titles for you to try. Thanks for watching. See you on the dark side.
Thank you, Codsworth.